Hey, what's up, y'all? So today I'm making a video inspired by a couple of people on Twitter. Miss Doriana Gray there, old picture of Doriana. I think she's @Blurbet on Twitter. And Darth Pimp Daddy, formerly known as the Cobra Commander. And he is, I think he's out west somewhere, maybe Oregon, I don't know. He's way the hell up in the Pacific Northwest, and I don't know where in the hell she's at. But anyway, we're going to make some pizza dough and some sauce. And then we'll finish up the video later. Alright, so I got 2/3 cup of flour. This is pizza flour, so it's got extra gluten. That's what helps make it stretch and be crispy. This is 2/3 of a cup of water with yeast already bloomed. About a teaspoon of sugar. I didn't have any sugar. You could use honey. I used some really nice molasses I had, like a small batch, not blackstrap stuff. Alright, so that was on 2/3. Adding a little more. We don't want it to get too wet. Now that we got that there, let's add a little salt there, because the salt can kill your yeast if you put it in there with that water. Sugar helps it bloom. So we'll finish putting that together. We'll knead it until it gets smooth. Crushed tomatoes with basil. This is fresh garlic. I like garlic, a lot of it. Bam. That's quite a few cloves. Depends on the size of the clove, about 4, maybe 5. It's also dried basil, dried parsley, salt, and pepper, fresh ground pepper, and kosher salt there. We're going to put a little bit of tomato paste in there, so when that water cooks out, it doesn't get too runny on your pizza. A little bit of olive oil. I'm not going to add sugar to it. Some people would. Tomato paste. It's a big can. It's probably enough. That was a small can of tomato paste. So we're going to mix this up, put it in the fridge, let it sit 3 or 4 hours. We're going to let that dough, I'll take a picture of it here at the end, or a little short video showing what it looks like once I get it kneaded up, so that I can show you the texture you're looking for. Okay? Alright, through the magic of television, we'll have that in just a minute. You see it? Alright, so I put my dough in the fridge and it really got soft and big, which is not what you really want that to look like. That's how soft it is. And that's real nice. But if I want to throw it, it's going to be hard to do. So I'm just kind of, what do you call, punching it down. Adding a little bit of flour to it. This is your technique for rolling a ball of dough. We're slowly working some of that air out. We're going to let this thing rise again. That way your dough is nice and cold. And it gets kind of stiff and stretchy. See how that's real pretty and smooth like that? That's what you want to see, folks. That's when you got pizza dough. Okay? Okay. Just like. Alright, so my dough has risen again, and you know, I used different flour than I normally do, and I used regular yeast instead of fast rising yeast, which is better, of course. And I barely got my water warm, but my dough has really risen a lot. We'll see if I'm able to throw it at all. Hopefully I'll be able to at least show you the technique so that you can practice with a damp dishcloth, and I'll show you how you can do that. So if you want to wow the kids watching you make your pizza. So let's see how much this is going to sink. There she goes. She's really dropping on me. That's good. It's got a lot. We're going to probably get some nice bubbles in this dough. I don't even know. This thing's going to be, we'll see how this one turns out. I don't know. It feels pretty spongy. We definitely have some air bubbles. So I'm mostly just going to pound it down in the middle. What are you telling me to do, Tanya? This is in your way? Anyway, you can see these big air bubbles we're getting here. We got a lot of air in this dough. So I'm just kind of pounding it down in the middle. It's not as cold as I'd like, but really you're just going to kind of run your hands around the outside edges. Okay? You can use your thumbs to kind of do it. And you're kind of stretching that dough out. This is so full of air, which really is pretty surprising. I'm not used to having this issue. But what you want to do, I'm going to squeeze in that air out, so I'm going to do this instead of using my thumbs. Okay? There's more than one way to skin a cat if you've done this a bunch like I have. So what we're doing is stretching the dough. And the reason that you're stretching the dough is to get it thin. Without it being messed up in spots and places. So I'm not going to be able to throw this dough, unfortunately, because it is too soft and too airy. But I will show you the technique with the dish towel. What you really want to do when you make your dough is let it sit overnight. I didn't have time to do that today. So I'm trying to kind of rushing this a little bit, y'all. And I'm sorry for that, but you know, necessity is the mother of invention. And I'm all about invention. And mothers. Here's to yours. We won't say anymore. If you know what movie that's from, you know. So anyway, that's going to be our dough pressed out here. It's a pretty good sized pan, maybe even a 16-incher. So what I wanted to show you with that dough is you're just running your thumbs. If you have a good stiff dough, you're going to run it around the edges. This isn't quite wet enough. Okay, so you're just stretching. Notice that we're kind of flipping it around like that. Okay? If this was wetter, it'd be a lot easier. And then you're just going to toss it and spin it like that. Okay? So you're just tossing and spinning. Tossing and spinning. And if this was wet, again, I could show you better. And I'm sorry that my dough didn't turn out this time. But that is real cooking. We're not on a big stage set up. And I don't have somebody that's got dough that was made yesterday that's icy cold sitting in the fridge for me. So, but this dough will be delicious. And had it set overnight, I promise, it would have worked out just fine. For throwing, it's still perfectly great to eat. It's actually probably going to be fantastic. Alright? So this is the sauce that we made here. You mostly want your sauce pushed out to the edge. Don't make a big puddle in the middle, because your pizza sauce is going to kind of all go to the middle of your pizza anyway as you're baking. In case you don't know that, that's a little tip for you. You want it thinner in the middle, thicker on the outside edges. Some people don't like a lot of sauce. I like a good bit of sauce. You know? I mean, I know Italians don't really do it that way, but I'm not actually Italian. I just worked for a bunch of them. And I like their style, man. So I culturally appropriated their wonderful food. But I think we're kind of supposed to share in our cultures. That's what makes us great. This is whole milk mozzarella, which will really spread out a lot. And it kind of tends to burn a little bit. But it's really stretchy and nice. I like to add a little extra flavored cheese. If you like a really nice cheese to add is a Fontina. Fontina is really nice if you can come across it. This is a Italian blend. This has part skim milk, which will help not burn so much, the mozzarella. And we got provolone, Parmesan, Asiago, and Romano. So we're gonna, do that to add a little extra flavor. If you don't like those stronger cheeses, just use the mozzarella. You do what you like to do. Okay? Now, this was inspired by Darth Pimp Daddy on Twitter, at Darth Pimp Daddy, and at Butterbet. Old picture of Doriana Gray. She told me to do something with ham and eggs because it was Easter. And I was like, okay, well, shit. I can't just go all crazy with it. Got to do something inspired. So we're doing ham and egg pizza. I know that sounds crazy. I've actually never tried this before. I've done bacon and egg pizza one night late for some friends of mine after a night on the town, and they still talk about it to this day, and not in a bad way. At least I don't think they meant in a bad way. They didn't seem to mean it in a bad way. So I've got my oven preheated to 460 degrees. A hot oven is good. We're going to cook on the bottom oven rack. I don't have a pizza stone. I do have a nice, this is an old school pan. All that blackening on there is just many times of bacon on it. Okay, it's just oil baked into the pan. You don't scrub that shit off. You leave it on there. Mr. C would, when I started working in an Italian restaurant the first time when I was just a kid, he told me not to ever touch his bread pans. Don't wash my bread pans. Again, Brandon posts the way it makes these. If anybody wants cutting board, we'll leave some contact information. Alright, so this pizza is pretty well done. One last little bit of dried basil on top. We're going to pop this in the oven for about 10 minutes. About 10 minutes we're going to pop this in. After that, we're going to pull it out. And we're going to crack some eggs on this thing. I know, it sounds crazy, right? We're going to crack an egg on there, and we're going to put it back in the oven and finish baking it. And when that's all done, we should be able to slice this, and the egg will be just a little runny. And it turned out really, really good when I've done it before. And so we'll see how this one comes out. All right, so we're going to put some eggs on this bad boy. Putting it in the bowl first so we don't get any shells or anything. No, don't run all the way down.
Sometimes you cannot control what happens in the body. He landed the kicks that he went out. No damage. What did you feel in the time spending out? Was it everything that you expected it to be? I know. Like I said before, it feels like home again, man. Feels like I've been here before. It's comfortable.
That'll learn me to make a little spot first.
So I'm pretty sure that gets you back now. pretty quick. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for CLD, Christian Leroy Duncan.
Christian Leroy Duncan, 8-0, getting it done. However, which way is UFC debut? Congratulations to CLD.
Well, my eggs are running away from me on. I don't know. That's disappointing. Try not to be discouraged, y'all. It's just so eggs cracked. Maybe I could. So I'm not going to get any help. Oh. There's the oven opened. We're going to put this back in for about another 10 minutes. Check that out. Does it look good? I hope it does. It smells real nice. This is just a little dried parsley. We're going to give a little, we're going to be fancy and be like, I don't know why they have to do their arm like that, but it makes me laugh my ass off. And we'll put a little fresh pepper right here on the top of those eggs. Maybe we come over here, we grab our cheese, and we come back and we give a little sprinkle, inkle. That was my timer, which was at 11 minutes. I pulled it out a little early. You saw how much early. This is all in real time, folks. This is the real world that we live in. I don't have a lot of magic technology here, just the bare minimum. Let's give this a cut. My eggs are just a little more done than I wanted. I want a little bit more runny. So you might want to do on your bacon 11 minutes the first go around and maybe 9 minutes the second go if you want your eggs a little more runny. If you want it like this where it's like a soft boiled egg, then I have cooked it perfect for you. Tanya, if you'll bring that around over here. Thank you so much, helper lady. Let's see what we got here. Let's see if we can pull out a pretty slice. So that's a pizza with ham and egg. Again, if you want your eggs a little bit more runny than that, you're going to want to cook the entire thing for about 19 minutes at 460. So there you go. A ham and egg pizza for you real ham and eggers out there. Inspired by some of my Twitter friends. I hope you enjoy it, and talk to you soon.